Just ahead on CTV News, the County Council makes a final vote in rent stabilization, and the state's core and service program celebrates its first graduating class.
Generations from now, when you see people doing their service years all over the state, let me tell you something. Y'all can look back and say, yep, it started with us.
Plus, we meet our Pet of the Week. Those stories and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining us for CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton. Topping our news tonight, the Prince George's County Council wraps up their session. Several bills were passed before the council's summer break, one of them regarding a huge issue in the county, rent stabilization. Now, last night, the council voted unanimously in favor of a new rent stabilization bill. The bill would cap yearly rent increases for buildings constructed prior to the year 2000 at 6% or the regional inflation rate plus 3%, whichever is lower. Now, it will cap rent increases at age-restricted and senior housing centers at a maximum of 4.5% and also prohibit landlords from imposing new fees for services and amenities in the midst of a lease.
I wasn't happy that, the cap wasn't as low as, we were advocating for. I wasn't as happy that as many seniors are not going to be covered, and just residents in general. So I'm happy that we're taking a historic step, next to Montgomery County. That's room for progress, and Crystal says that there will be other bills introduced to, try to address these people who are now going to be exempted.
And the legislation awaits final approval by County Executive Angela Alsobrooks. Well, the Federal Election Commission says former Republican Governor Larry Hogan is outraising his Democratic opponent Angela Alsobrooks by $1 million between April and June in the race for U.S. Senate. According to the report, Hogan raised $7.4 million in campaign money. Alsobrooks raised nearly $6.4 million since April. So far, though, Hogan has raised $13.8 million and Alsobrooks $15.4 million since earlier this year. And it's day 3 of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Last night, conventioneers saw one-time Trump rival and critic Nikki Haley throw her support behind the nominee. For the first time ever on Monday, a Teamsters union boss gave a speech at the RNC. John Roquio of the University of Maryland School of Public Policy says the speakers have set a unifying zone, but he questions how long that will last. Tonight, he'll be watching as Trump's VP pick, J.D. Vance, takes to the stage.
I think people want to know who he is, to tell you the truth. I think in terms of a superficial lens, a lot of people know him from his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy. Some people know him from his media appearances. And again, he is somebody who was very critical of Donald Trump at one point in time. I believe he actually said that he was a never-Trumper. And now here we are just a few short years later, seeing him as a vice presidential nominee and a junior senator from Ohio, right? And so I think because he has pivoted so much in terms of his stance, I think people want to know who he is. They want to know who is the real J.D. Vance and who are we preparing to see for the potential successor of the leader of the de facto leader of the Republican Party after this election.
And former President Trump is expected to speak at the RNC tomorrow night. Well, officials say Prince George's County residents are without air conditioning or have air conditioning units that do not work. And this comes as the region is seeing record high temperatures. Now, council members are speaking out about the issue, hoping to make a change. According to Councilwoman Crystal Oriata, council members are trying to rectify the situation by reaching out to property managers or to corporate.
One of the issues that we see is it's very hard to get in contact, especially with the ownership and corporate. I think they should be violating every single day. There's a violation that it's not done. And the amount should be higher and higher and higher until it's fixed. Because the issue is these apartment complexes that are already having people live in these deplorable conditions and that have been going unchecked are not going to change their behavior unless there's tangible consequences.
And she does tell CTV News that it is a top priority. Meanwhile, a plane crash in Talbot County yesterday leaves the pilot dead. The victim has been identified as 56-year-old Robert Merlini from Annapolis. His plane took off at 9 a.m. from Tipton Airport in Fort Meade before crashing into the Tread Avon River near Easton. Investigators believe the plane was traveling to Easton Airport before it plunged into the water. Now, when divers arrived, they recovered Merlini's body from the water, where he was unfortunately pronounced dead on the scene. And the NTSB has launched an investigation into the crash. And we now know the name of the man who fired multiple shots in a Bowie home while hallucinating last week. Right there on your screen is suspect Michael Hornfeck with the weapon Bowie police recovered on the scene. He is being charged with multiple criminal offenses, including 2 counts of first and second degree assault. But last Tuesday, officers responded to a home invasion call on Sudbury Lane. Once they arrived, they realized that Hornfeck was a resident of the home and had fired several shots at the neighboring home. He is currently being held at the county's Department of Corrections. And a man has been arrested for allegedly targeting an 82-year-old Silver Spring woman through a gold bar scam. 19-year-old Zhenyang Wang was arrested for targeting the woman. In May of this year, the victim was contacted by an unknown individual who directed her to transfer her assets into gold bars to prevent Russia from taking her money. Now, the woman complied with the suspect's demands and handed the suspect several packages worth over $900,000 in gold bars. Now, Wang was arrested in Silver Spring while he attempted to collect a package from the victim valued at over $70,000. And the University of Maryland is agreeing to pay $500,000 in the settlement over the school failing to disclose foreign research support. UMD received federal grants for research that require applicants to disclose all support services. The federal government alleged that UMD knowingly failed to inform them about 3 UMD researchers that received foreign funding for other research projects. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Michaela Newton. Still to come, the first Maryland Corps in Service year recently held a graduation. We'll have more details on that right after the break.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Food can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, well, and never let them out of our sight. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
We're with Liam after his 4th military move. When being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. Thanks to generous supporters, we're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. We're certainly feeling the effects of the heat this summer, and so are our cars. Now, AAA has been receiving higher volumes of calls during the summer months, citing things like belts, batteries, and other car parts are likely to go out when dealing with the added pressure that heat presents. And the best way to prevent these issues is as simple as bringing your car to your local mechanic.
Yeah, I mean, you could just bring it in anytime and we could check it out for you. It don't take that long. We just do a quick walk around. We could hook up the little battery tester and see what the state of charge is on it.
And last summer, AAA responded to over 164,000 roadside calls in Maryland alone. And the intense heat wave is having an impact on Maryland fishing. The warmer waters have forced the state to ban striped bass fishing in all waterways. But that order does go through effect until July 31st. And the order also applies to trout fishing in areas designated for catch and release. But the advisory is in effect until weather conditions warrant. Striped bass fishing is actually prohibited until the end of the month. However, officials say there is a lot of species that you can go after.
Yes, we actually are encouraging anglers to fish for our big three invasive species. They are the Chesapeake channa, also known as northern snakehead, the flathead catfish, which is common up around the lower Susquehanna River, Conowingo Dam area, and the blue catfish, which is probably the most abundant invasive fish. The blue catfish are all over the bay, from the Susquehanna River all the way down to the Virginia state line. And they're very abundant in the Potomac River, Patuxent River, and all of our eastern shore rivers.
Well, the IRS recently announced that it has collected $1 billion in back taxes from millionaires since 2023. Last year, the agency launched an initiative to pursue high-income, high-wealth individuals who failed to pay their recognized tax debt. Now, the initiative targeted taxpayers with incomes of at least $1 million and recognized tax debts over $250,000. Now, the IRS predicts to gain a revenue as much as $851 billion over the next decade if those payments are acquired. And real estate experts say Maryland home prices will not decrease substantially as a result of lower commissions for realtors. The National Association of Realtors will pay more than $400 million in settlement for lawsuits that say it inflated real estate agents' commissions. Now, instead of home sellers paying a commission rate around 6% to their agents, they'll negotiate. But in Maryland, buyer brokerage agreements were already required, so housing prices won't be majorly affected. And it was graduation day for the inaugural class of Maryland Corps and Service Year Option participants. Some 230 members took part in the program that funnels high school graduates between 18 and 21 into a year of public service. Now, the grads completed the year at more than 100 businesses, agencies, and organizations across the state.
This is such a big deal because you didn't have to do this. We told you from the first day this was not going to be simple. That by definition this was going to be hard. That by definition we were asking you to not just get out of a comfort zone, but to stay there for a little while. That from the very first day we said that in this time of true divisiveness and oftentimes political vitriol, that it was both that service would save us, but in a time of darkness that you were going to be the light.
For me, I have had the opportunity to serve with Love Wins movement in Anne Arundel County, which serves as a local food pantry while also running multiple addiction recovery houses throughout the Glen Burnie area in South Baltimore. Serving with Love Wins has shown me that there is and will always be a higher purpose than self-interest.
And next year's class, which starts in September, will include a climate corps. 600 people are already signed up. And still to come on CTV News, shoppers around the country pause spending in June. Find out what this means for our economy when we return.
I'll see y'all. Got some batteries and 2 flashlights.
What's up, champ?
Flashlights, cool. feel like you get taller every time I see you.
Dear moms and dads, what you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, we love you always.
Everything I do.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Hi. I'm your retirement fear. But don't be scared. You're still in pre-retirement.
Does that mean I have more time to plan?
Precisely. Here, this is pretirement.org.
Retirement savings options? Potential tax breaks?
Ooh.
This isn't scary. I'm doing it.
You got this.
Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan.
Welcome back. Calling all hunters. You can now enter the 2024 Black Bear Hunt Lottery. Every year in Western Maryland, the Department of Natural Resources carries out a 6-day black bear hunt. Now, officials say the hunt is an important part of managing the state's growing black bear population. But this year's hunt will take place in October in Allegheny, Frederick, Garrett, and Washington counties. Now, hunters can apply at the Department of Natural Resources website. And the Montgomery County Council unanimously passed a bill to strengthen tenant safety. Leases will now have to include specific details about what insurance covers and whether there is an automatic sprinkler system. They must also have detailed emergency safety plans, and a building representative must be available 24 hours a day. The bill's passage comes just over 1 year after the death of 25-year-old Melanie Diaz, who died in the Rive apartment building fire in Silver Spring last February.
It became clear to me as I was talking to the residents impacted by the fire and her family that we needed to do a number of things and things like emergency plans, making sure people know if there's sprinkler systems. And then there were a number of residents who basically lost everything in the fire and they thought they were insured, but the landlord had the insurance, not them, for their possessions. And so they lost everything.
And each building's emergency safety plan must be approved by the Montgomery County Department of Permitting Services. Well, listen to this. Shoppers around the country paused their spending in the month of June despite economists projecting an increase. The report does not include money spent on services like traveling and hotel lodging, but experts did see an uptick in restaurant sales at 0.3% from the month of May. Along with spending, inflation is also down to a year low, 3%, and June marks the third straight month of cooling deflation. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. It's time for our pet of the week, or should I say pets of the week. Take a look at these cute guinea pigs. Animal management says that guinea pigs are low maintenance pets.
They're a good starter pet. Like I said, they're very low maintenance. They don't require much, just a nutritious diet, for them to have food. And if you socialize them, then they like to be held. They do require an appropriate amount of exercise, just like any other pet. But it wouldn't be a high level of commitment. So it's a very good starter pet. Rabbits are litter trained. Guinea pigs are not litter trained, but they are very low maintenance. And we do have a lot of friendly guys here. We also have a little hamster, and they're very similar in maintenance.
And if you would like to adopt any of those cute pets or any of their friends, make sure you call Animal Management at the number right there on your screen. And still to come on CTV News, Simon Bucks has our Wednesday sports page. He'll talk all about volleyball. We'll be right back.
What's up, sports fans? Don't move, because I got the chance to speak to Coach Corey Somerville about his volleyball academy. Stay right there. You don't want to miss it.
Why is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick. below the surface. My why is diversity and unity, a safe space in my community. Living with sincerity, giving every day my everything. With my why, I stand strong, seen and supported all along. For some, their why is a summer under stars, memories and moments, connections near and far. Why is the before work hustle, an after school home, a section of my block, a corner to call my own. Our reason why is united, undivided, seeking understanding. Here, a handshake is a promise. All our hearts are dancing. Laughing is our song. It's kinship, friendship, tide rising with the ship. It's a million faces in a mirror, and everyone belongs. Find your why for a better us.
I'm the Big C.
What is the Big C?
I'm here to tell you about skin cancer. Skin cancer is the cancer you can see. If we see something new, changing, or unusual, that could be skin cancer.
Is there skin cancer on me right now?
I'm not a dermatologist, but you know who is?
Yeah.
You're dermatologist.
Yes.
You gotta get checked, girl.
Do I?
Yes! Everybody has to get checked. See the Big C today.
As we work to get through these times together, you may not be thinking about blood donation, but blood is needed to save the lives of people who are sick with a range of illnesses. It's easy and safe to give. If you are in good health, please donate. We need heroes now. Visit redcrossblood.org to schedule an appointment.
What's going on, sports fans? It's time for your Wednesday sports page. We begin with some news from the world of volleyball. While Prince George's County is known for athletes excelling in sports, there is one in particular that seems to fly under the radar in volleyball. There are tons of athletes from this area who are gifted volleyball players but don't get the recognition or resources they deserve. But one man in Corey Somerville is looking to change that, which is why he started the Heart of Coaching Volleyball Academy.
I saw a need for it, and I saw the passion and the growth and the like of volleyball in PG County. And the more and more I started coaching, the more and more the kids wanted to come to training. I saw the want and the need and the desire to get better. It's the fastest growing sport in the nation. So again, just being able to fill that void and seeing the kids when they come to training and things like that, and they're referring because their friends see how good they get and they want to come. And you know, you just seeing that need, it makes you want to go harder at providing the techniques and providing the coaching.
Somerville tries to get the absolute best out of his players, which is why he instills in them the mantra,
never let anybody outwork you.
And he touched on how this approach benefits his players in the long run.
And I go hard no matter what level you are. I train and teach you as if your aspirations are to make it to the college level. These little kids, you know, I make sure they do everything right. A lot of kids, you know, they come from teams and schools where, you know, the teachers or the coaches just let things go and, oh, that's good. That's not the way I am. I want you to do everything right because that's what's going to help you excel. You know, when I let you know that wasn't right. Sometimes they get frustrated, and I have the patience for it. You know, but when they put it all together and they come back and it's the thank you coaches and I didn't believe I can do it. That's what I look forward to.
Coach Corey has over 20 years of coaching experience and has helped countless athletes reach the next level of their volleyball careers. I was able to catch up with a couple in North Carolina A&T commit Deja Warren, Lincoln University volleyball player Charlie Manley, and Lamb Christian School outside hitter and defensive specialist Crystal Newman, and they talked about the effect that Coach Corey has had on them.
He is a really college-ready program. Everything he does is to get you to the next level. So whether that be techniques or whether that be training you not only with just volleyball but strength training, gets me really in shape for volleyball to get me my vertical up, and just technique-based, blocking drills over and over again, just repetitive drills to get you to that next level.
I
didn't have the best quality coaches, so when I started coaching with him, I kind of got like a breakdown of my technique and all that, and I think it definitely like boosted up my skill, my power, everything. So it really boosted up my confidence and also helped me like in leading other girls to who had the same like coaching experience that I had to like have better quality in their volleyball playing.
Coach Corey is big on just intentional movements. So he cut down my extra movements, made me a more aggressive player, and he just showed me that you can be a leader even without the title.
Moving on to the major leagues, a Maryland native's MLB dreams came true last night as Jeremiah Jenkins was selected by the San Francisco Giants in the 14th round of the MLB draft yesterday. Jenkins, who is from Upper Marlboro, played 3 seasons at the University of Maine. And during his time as a Black Bear, Jenkins had a .332 batting average, a .454 on-base percentage, and a .675 slugging percentage. And his slugging percentage is the highest in a single career in the program's history. Jenkins also hit 50 homers, which is the second most in a career in program history, and 153 RBIs. Congratulations, Jeremiah. And that wraps up your midweek sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
All right, Simon, thanks so much. And before we go, let's take a look at our 3-day weather forecast tonight. We're under a flood watch, so be prepared if you live on a lower level. And Thursday, expect a high of 89 and a low of 69. We'll have some isolated showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Friday and Saturday is going to be nice and sunny with a high of 88 on both days. And taking a look at our community calendar, tomorrow evening, Prince George's County Parks and Recreation will be hosting their summer concert series featuring the Faces You Know Band. The concert takes place at Cosca Regional Park from 6 to 8 p.m. But for more information, make sure you contact the number right there on your screen. And that's all the time that we have. Thanks so much for joining us for CTV News tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good one.